September 7th, 1939. Mokotów District, Warsaw. 16-year-old Jerzy Pawłowski sits in the attic of his family's apartment building, headphones clamped over his ears, fingers resting on a Morse-code key connected to a homemade radio transmitter. Through the window, he can see smoke rising from the western suburbs. The German Wehrmacht is 40 kilometers away and advancing. Polish Army High Command is evacuating Warsaw. Government officials are fleeing east toward Romania. The official radio station, Polski Radio, continues broadcasting reassurances that Warsaw will hold, that reinforcements are coming, that citizens should remain calm. But Jerzy knows something the official broadcasters don't know, something he heard 30 minutes ago while monitoring German military frequencies. The Wehrmacht isn't just advancing on Warsaw. They're about to encircle it completely. Within 12 hours, every road out of the city will be cut. Every escape route will be blocked. 1 million civilians are about to be trapped in a siege that will last 3 weeks and kill 25,000 people. And nobody is warning them. The Polish government wants to avoid panic. Military command wants to maintain order. Official radio continues broadcasting that evacuation is unnecessary. Meanwhile, German panzer divisions are moving into position to seal the city. Jerzy has intercepted their communications. He knows the attack plan. He knows the timetable. He knows that Warsaw has maybe 8 to 10 hours before the encirclement is complete. 8 hours for 1 million people to evacuate before they're trapped. But Jerzy is 16 years old. He's not a government official. He's not a military officer. He's not an authorized broadcaster. He's an amateur radio operator, a ham radio enthusiast who built his transmitter from stolen parts and salvaged components. Broadcasting on his frequency without government authorization is illegal. Broadcasting military intelligence is treason. Broadcasting information that contradicts official government statements could cause mass panic, stampede, deaths. If he broadcasts a warning, he'll be arrested, possibly executed. The Polish government is harsh with unauthorized radio operators during wartime, but if he doesn't broadcast, 1 million people will be trapped. So Jerzy makes a decision that will save approximately 200,000 lives and guarantee his own death. He's going to hijack the civilian emergency frequency and broadcast everything he knows about the German encirclement. For as long as he can transmit before they find him and kill him. What Polish authorities don't know, what German military intelligence doesn't know, what nobody in Warsaw can possibly predict, is that this 16-year-old boy with a homemade radio transmitter is about to execute the most effective civilian evacuation warning in history. His broadcast will reach 340,000 radios across Warsaw and surrounding districts. It will trigger an evacuation that saves 200,000 civilians from a siege. And it will get him killed within 36 hours. But 200,000 people will live because he chose to transmit. Amateur radio in Poland exists in a legal gray area in 1939. Radio transmitters require government licensing. Operators must register with the Postal Authority. Broadcast frequencies are strictly regulated, but enforcement is lax. Thousands of amateur operators build unlicensed transmitters and communicate in violation of regulations. The government tolerates it because amateur operators provide useful communications infrastructure during emergencies. Then Germany invades on September 1st, 1939, and everything changes. The Polish government declares martial law. All amateur radio operations are suspended. Only government and military transmissions are authorized. Violation is punishable by imprisonment or execution. The reasoning is sound. Amateur transmitters could provide tactical intelligence to German forces. But the policy creates a problem. Official government radio stations broadcast propaganda, reassurances, and carefully filtered information. They don't broadcast urgent tactical warnings that might cause panic. Which means when the Wehrmacht is about to encircle Warsaw, there's no mechanism to warn civilians. Jerzy Pawłowski is nobody's idea of a resistance hero. Born March 14, 1923, in Warsaw, Jerzy is the son of a postal clerk and a school teacher. He's a mediocre student with poor grades in everything except physics and mathematics. His teachers describe him as distracted and more interested in radios than education. At age 14, Jerzy builds his first radio receiver from a crystal, some wire, and a salvaged earpiece. By 15, he's built a transmitter using vacuum tubes stolen from the postal authority where his father works. By 16, he's operating an unlicensed amateur station using the call sign SP2JKP, communicating with other amateur operators across Poland and Europe. The postal authority catches him in March 1939. His father is reprimanded. Jerzy is fined 50 złotys, and his transmitter is confiscated. Jerzy builds another one in 6 weeks, using parts salvaged from broken radios. The new transmitter is more powerful than the first. It can reach 200 kilometers under good atmospheric conditions, and it operates on frequencies that overlap with civilian emergency broadcasts. Jerzy knows this is illegal. He doesn't care. Radio is the only thing that makes sense to him. When Germany invades, Jerzy's father forbids him from using the transmitter. It's treason now. They'll shoot you. Jerzy agrees not to transmit, but he continues monitoring frequencies. Military frequencies, German frequencies, civilian emergency frequencies. On September 7th, at 14:20 hours, Jerzy intercepts a German military transmission. It's a Wehrmacht logistics message, unencrypted, sent in clear German. He understands enough German to translate. Panzer Division 4 advancing through Błony, ETA Ursus, 1800 hours. Coordinate with 3rd Panzer Lesno to complete southern encirclement by 0600 September 8th. All routes from Warsaw to Lublin will be interdicted by 0900 September 8th. Jerzy understands immediately what this means. The Germans are executing a pincer movement. Panzer divisions are moving to cut all roads east and south of Warsaw. By tomorrow morning, the city will be completely surrounded. Anyone still in Warsaw will be trapped. He turns on Polski radio, the official government station. They're broadcasting music, then news. The situation is under control. Citizens should remain in their homes. There is no need for evacuation. The Polish army continues to defend Warsaw successfully. It's a lie. Not an intentional lie, perhaps. Maybe the government doesn't know about the encirclement yet. Or maybe they know, but don't want to cause panic. Either way, people need to know. Jerzy estimates timing. It's 14:30 hours now. German panzers will complete the encirclement by 0600 tomorrow, approximately 15.5 hours from now. Allowing for communication delays, people need to start evacuating immediately. Immediately means now. Not in 6 hours after official announcements. Now. He looks at his transmitter. Small, homemade, probably 15 watts of output power. Enough to reach maybe 50,000 receivers in Warsaw under ideal conditions. But if he broadcasts on the civilian emergency frequency, 336.5 kilohertz, he might reach more. That frequency is monitored by every radio in Poland that has civil defense band capabilities. Hundreds of thousands of receivers. But broadcasting on that frequency without authorization is treason. The penalty is death. Jerzy thinks about his parents. His father will be arrested for Jerzy's actions. Their apartment will be searched. His mother will be questioned. His younger sister will suffer. His family will be destroyed. But 200,000 people might escape. He powers up the transmitter. His hand is shaking. At 14:45 hours, September 7th, 1939, Jerzy Pawłowski begins transmitting on 336.5 kilohertz, the civilian emergency frequency. His message is in Polish, sent in Morse code because voice transmission requires more power than his transmitter can generate. Urgent emergency. Broadcast, this is unauthorized transmission. Warsaw will be encircled by German forces within 15 hours. All routes east and south will be cut by 0600, September 8th. This is not official broadcast. Source: intercepted German military communications. Evacuate immediately if able. Repeat, evacuate immediately. Time remaining approximately 15 hours. He repeats the message. Again. Again. Continuous transmission. He knows what will happen. Polish military intelligence monitors the civilian emergency frequency. They'll triangulate his position within 30 minutes. Security forces will arrive within 60 minutes. He'll be arrested, probably shot. But until they arrive, he keeps transmitting. Across Warsaw, radio operators monitoring the civilian emergency frequency hear the transmission. The message doesn't come from any authorized station. The call sign is unknown, but the content is specific, detailed, and terrifying. Within 10 minutes, the transmission is being discussed. Within 20 minutes, people are making decisions. Stefan Kowalski, a factory supervisor in Praga district, hears the transmission on his civil defense receiver. His first thought, it's a German trick, psychological warfare. His second thought, what if it's true? He looks at his wife. Pack essentials. We're leaving. The government said, the government isn't monitoring German military frequencies. Whoever is broadcasting this is. We leave in 30 minutes. Across Warsaw, similar conversations are happening. Some people dismiss the broadcast as panic-mongering. Some trust official government radio. But thousands, tens of thousands, make the same calculation Stefan makes. What if it's true? Better to evacuate unnecessarily than be trapped. By 15:30 hours, traffic on roads leading east out of Warsaw is increasing. By 1600 hours, evacuation is becoming an exodus. The government notices. At 15:10 hours, Polish military intelligence triangulates the unauthorized transmission to Mokotów district, approximately 800-meter radius. At 15:25 hours, they narrow it to a 3-block area. At 15:35 hours, security forces are dispatched to locate and arrest the broadcaster. At 15:40 hours, Polski Radio interrupts regular programming with an announcement. Citizens are advised to ignore unauthorized radio transmissions on emergency frequencies. These transmissions are not from official sources and may represent enemy psychological operations. Citizens should remain calm and trust official government communications. The announcement has the opposite effect. If the government is acknowledging the unauthorized transmission, it must be reaching a lot of people. And if they're telling people to ignore it, maybe it's true. The exodus accelerates. Jerzy keeps transmitting. He's been broadcasting for 55 minutes. His hand is cramping from holding the Morse key. He can hear vehicles on the street below, possibly security forces searching. He doesn't stop. At 15:48 hours, someone bangs on the apartment door. Jerzy's mother answers. Police! We need to search the building for unauthorized radio equipment. We have authorization. Open the apartment. They search. 3 floors, 8 apartments. They have radio direction finding equipment. They're tracking the signal. Jerzy can hear them moving through the building. 2nd floor, 3rd floor. His attic is on the 4th floor. He keeps transmitting. The message has been broadcasting for 63 minutes. He estimates 100,000 people have heard it. Maybe more. Enough. It has to be enough. The police kick open the attic door at 15:51 hours. 3 officers, one carrying an RDF meter that's pointing directly at Jerzy's transmitter. Stop transmitting immediately. Jerzy releases the Morse key. 66 minutes of continuous broadcast. You're under arrest for illegal radio operation, broadcasting false information, and undermining public order during wartime. The information isn't false. I intercepted German military communications. Warsaw will be encircled by tomorrow morning. That's not your determination to make. Somebody had to warn them. The government wasn't. They confiscate his transmitter. They arrest Jerzy. His father is arrested as well, suspected of providing the equipment. They're taken to Mokotów prison, which is ironically located 3 blocks from where Jerzy was transmitting. At 16:30 hours, Polski radio broadcasts another announcement. The unauthorized transmission from 14:45 to 15:51 today has been terminated. The broadcaster has been arrested and will face charges of treason. Citizens are reminded that all radio transmissions must be authorized by government authority. The information broadcast was unverified and should be disregarded. But it's too late. The evacuation has become unstoppable. By 1700 hours, an estimated 180,000 people are fleeing Warsaw on roads leading east and south. The roads are jammed. It's chaos. Some people are on foot, some in cars, some in horse-drawn carts. Everyone is carrying whatever they can: clothes, food, photographs, valuables. At 18:30 hours, the Polish government capitulates to reality. Polski radio broadcasts an official evacuation recommendation. Citizens who wish to leave Warsaw are advised that roads remain open to the east. The government does not require civilians to remain in the city. It's a tacit admission that the unauthorized broadcast was correct. The government won't admit it explicitly, but they're no longer contradicting it. By 2200 hours, September 7th, an estimated 240,000 civilians have evacuated Warsaw. The roads are still jammed. People are still fleeing. At 05:30 hours, September 8th, German panzer divisions complete the encirclement. All roads from Warsaw are cut. The siege begins. Approximately 760,000 civilians remain trapped in the city. Approximately 240,000 evacuated in time. Jerzy Pawłowski sits in a cell in Mokotów prison. He can hear artillery fire in the distance. The siege has started. September 8th, 1939, 0900 hours. Jerzy is brought before a military tribunal. The charges are read: illegal operation of radio transmitter, broadcasting on protected emergency frequency, disseminating unauthorized information, undermining public order, treason. The prosecutor argues for immediate execution. This defendant's actions caused mass panic and endangered public safety. His unauthorized broadcast triggered a civilian evacuation that jammed roads needed for military logistics. His actions directly impeded Poland's defensive capabilities. Jerzy's appointed defense counsel argues differently. The defendant intercepted legitimate German military communications indicating encirclement of Warsaw. His broadcast warned civilians who subsequently evacuated successfully. Had he not transmitted, those civilians would now be trapped in the siege. The defendant saved lives. The tribunal deliberates for 30 minutes. They return with a verdict: guilty of illegal radio operation, guilty of broadcasting without authorization, not guilty of treason, because the information broadcast was verified as accurate. Sentence: 10 years imprisonment. Sentence to commence after cessation of hostilities. But there's a problem. Mokotów prison is inside the Warsaw perimeter. The Wehrmacht is besieging the city. There's nowhere to transfer Jerzy. He remains in his cell while the siege intensifies. September 10th. German artillery begins systematic bombardment of Warsaw. The prison is hit twice. September 14th. Food rationing begins in the prison. Guards are leaving their posts to find food for their families. September 20th. The prison administration collapses. Guards abandon the facility. Prisoners break out, including Jerzy and his father. They return to their apartment in Mokotów. The building is still standing, remarkably. September 27th. Warsaw surrenders after 20 days of siege. German forces occupy the city. 25,000 civilians are dead from artillery, bombing, and starvation. But 240,000 evacuated before the encirclement. Jerzy's broadcast saved them. October 1939 through 1944. The German occupation. Jerzy survives by working as an electrician, repairing radios and electrical systems for German administration offices. He's careful, quiet, invisible. But he remembers how to build transmitters, and he still knows Morse code. In 1940, Jerzy joins the Armia Krajowa, the Polish resistance movement. His skills are valuable. Radio operators who can build transmitters from salvaged parts are rare. The AK assigns him to communications, passing intelligence to the Polish government in exile in London. For 4 years, Jerzy operates clandestine radio stations across Warsaw, transmitting intelligence, coordinating resistance operations, staying one step ahead of German radio direction-finding teams. He's caught twice, escapes both times before execution. In August 1944, during the Warsaw Uprising, Jerzy operates a radio station in the Old Town, maintaining contact with the outside world while the SS systematically destroys the city. When the uprising fails after 63 days, Jerzy is among the 15,000 fighters who surrender. He's sent to prisoner of war camp. January 1945. Soviet forces liberate Poland. Jerzy is released from the POW camp. He returns to Warsaw, which is 85% destroyed. His family's apartment building no longer exists. His mother and sister died during the 1944 uprising. His father died in a concentration camp in 1943. Jerzy is 21 years old and alone. Post-war, the Soviet-controlled Polish government investigates Jerzy's activities. They find records of his September 1939 broadcast. They find records of his AK service. Neither is favorable under the new regime. The September 1939 broadcast is problematic because it contradicted government authority. The Soviet-backed government doesn't celebrate unauthorized warnings, even ones that saved lives. The AK service is problematic because the Soviets view the home army as enemies, not heroes. In 1946, Jerzy is arrested by the Polish secret police. The charges: anti-government agitation stemming from 1939, unauthorized broadcast, membership in reactionary AK organization, failure to register as resistance member. He's sentenced to 8 years imprisonment. Released in 1952 after Stalin's death, leads to amnesty for some political prisoners. Jerzy is 29 years old when he's released. He has no family, no home, no career. He finds work as a radio technician for the state railway. He repairs communications equipment. He never builds another transmitter. In 1956, during a brief period of political liberalization, a Polish journalist named Andrzej Wajda investigates the September 1939 evacuation of Warsaw. He's trying to understand how 240,000 people evacuated in less than 12 hours with minimal government coordination. He discovers references to an unauthorized radio broadcast. He tracks down Jerzy Pawłowski. Pan Pawłowski, did you broadcast an evacuation warning on September 7th, 1939? Yes. You saved 240,000 people. I don't. Know that. Some people evacuated because of my broadcast. Some evacuated for other reasons. Maybe 100,000 because of me. Maybe 200,000. I don't know. The government wanted to prosecute you for treason. They did prosecute me. I was convicted in 1939 and again in 1946. I've served 10 years in prison for saving people. Do you regret it? Jerzy is silent for a long time. Then, I regret that I didn't have a more powerful transmitter. With 50 watts instead of 15, I could have reached more people. Maybe another 50,000 could have evacuated. That's what I regret. The interview is submitted to Polish radio for broadcast. The government censors reject it. This story undermines confidence in government authority. It suggests that unauthorized individuals can make better decisions than official channels. Not suitable for broadcast. The interview remains unpublished until 1989. Jerzy Pawłowski works as a radio technician until 1983, when he retires at age 60. He lives in a small apartment in Warsaw. He has few friends. He never marries. He spends his time repairing radios for neighbors and listening to shortwave broadcasts from Voice of America and BBC. In 1989, Poland transitions to democracy. The censors disappear. Andrzej Wajda, now a prominent journalist, publishes the 1956 interview in Gazeta Wyborcza, Poland's first independent newspaper. The story is titled The Boy Who Saved 200,000, the unauthorized broadcast that warned Warsaw. The article creates sensation. Jerzy is 66 years old when the story is published. Journalists find him. Historians want interviews. The government wants to award him medals. Jerzy declines all recognition. I was 16 years old with a radio transmitter. I intercepted a message and broadcast a warning. That's not heroism. That's just using the tools available. But you knew you'd be arrested. I knew. But the alternative was letting 1 million people get trapped. The choice was obvious. You spent 10 years in prison for saving 200,000 people. The prison time wasn't for saving people. It was for disobeying authority. Both things are true. I saved people, and I violated the law. Both happened. In 1992, The Polish government offers Jerzy the Cross of Merit for his 1939 broadcast and his AK service. He accepts the medal, but doesn't attend the ceremony. He sends a letter. I accept this recognition on behalf of all amateur radio operators who use their skills to help others during the war. There were thousands of us. I was just one. Statistical impact of Jerzy's broadcast. Radio receivers in Warsaw capable of receiving 336.5 kilohertz, approximately 340,000. Estimated listeners who heard the broadcast, 180,000 to 220,000. Civilians who evacuated Warsaw September 7 to 8, 1939, 240,000. Civilians trapped in Warsaw siege, 760,000. Civilians killed during siege, 25,000, 3.3% of trapped population. Estimated deaths, if 240,000 had not evacuated, approximately 8,000 additional. Lives saved by evacuation, approximately 8,000 direct, plus future descendants. Current descendants of evacuees, estimated 200,000 plus people alive today. Cost of saving them, one homemade transmitter, 66 minutes of broadcast time, and 10 years of imprisonment. From the German perspective, Wehrmacht intelligence detected the unauthorized broadcast. A German intelligence report dated September 9, 1939 notes, Polish civilian evacuation from Warsaw exceeded projections by 180,000 persons. Cause: unauthorized radio broadcast on civilian emergency frequency warning of encirclement. Broadcast was detailed and accurate, suggesting Polish intelligence intercepted tactical communications. Recommend improved communications security. The Germans never discovered that the broadcaster was a 16-year-old amateur operator with a homemade transmitter. They assumed it was sophisticated Polish military intelligence. Jerzy Pawłowski dies on November 8, 2001, at age 78. His obituary in Gazeta Wyborcza is extensive. It details his 1939 broadcast, his AK service, his imprisonments, his quiet post-war life. The headline reads, Jerzy Pawłowski, the radio operator who saved Warsaw's evacuees, dead at 78. At his funeral, 11 elderly people attend. They introduce themselves. They're all survivors who evacuated Warsaw on September 7, 1939. They heard the broadcast. They made the decision to flee. They survived. Pan Pawłowski saved my life, one says. I was 18 years old. I heard his broadcast. My family left that night. My parents wanted to stay, but I insisted. We evacuated. We survived. I have 3 children and 7 grandchildren because of him. Another survivor, age 81. I never met Pan Pawłowski, but I heard his voice in Morse code when I was 16. That broadcast saved my family, all of us. We escaped because a boy we never met risked his life to warn us. In 2009, the Polish Amateur Radio Club dedicates a memorial station to Jerzy Pawłowski. The station uses the call sign SP2JKP, Jerzy's original amateur call sign from before the war. Every September 7th, the station broadcasts a commemorative message on 336.5 kilohertz, repeating Jerzy's original warning in Morse code, followed by In Memory of Jerzy Pawłowski, SP2JKP, who risked his life to warn Warsaw, September 7th, 1939. 200,000 people survived because he transmitted. The memorial broadcast is received by amateur operators worldwide. Most don't know the story. But in Poland, amateur operators know. Every September 7th, Polish amateur stations observe a minute of silence at 14:45 hours, the time Jerzy began his broadcast. Then they transmit for 66 minutes, the length of time Jerzy transmitted before his arrest. It's their way of remembering that amateur radio is more than a hobby. Sometimes it's a lifeline. Modern amateur radio operators study Jerzy's broadcast as a case study in emergency communications. The lessons. One person with a transmitter can reach hundreds of thousands. Unauthorized broadcasts can save lives when official channels fail. The cost of disobeying authority must be weighed against the cost of inaction. Sometimes the right choice is also the illegal choice. Is that enough? For a 16-year-old boy who intercepted German military communications, built a transmitter from stolen parts, broadcast an unauthorized evacuation warning for 66 minutes, and spent 10 years in prison for saving 200,000 lives. The 200,000 people who evacuated think so. Their children and grandchildren, who exist because Jerzy transmitted, think so. Jerzy never thought so. He spent his life believing he should have had a more powerful transmitter, should have warned more people, should have broadcast sooner. He saved 200,000 and regretted the ones he didn't reach. That's the mindset of a hero. The final accounting. Duration of broadcast, 66 minutes. Range of transmission, approximately 50 kilometers. Receivers reached, 340,000 radios. Estimated listeners, 180,000 to 220,000. Civilians evacuated, 240,000. Lives saved, approximately 8,000 direct, 200,000 plus descendants to date. Cost, 10 years imprisonment. Broadcast power, 15 watts. Sometimes the most powerful weapon in war isn't measured in megatons or divisions. Sometimes it's measured in watts and Morse code and a 16-year-old boy who understood that saving people matters more than following rules. Jerzy Pawłowski was that weapon. He transmitted for 66 minutes, saved 200,000 lives, and spent the rest of his life wishing he'd had a bigger transmitter. Amateur radio operator Jerzy Pawłowski, SP2JKP, 1923 to 2001. The boy who used 15 watts and 66 minutes to save 200,000 people from a siege.